I've been thinking about something interesting. Games, they're kind of starting to suck. Obviously, there are still some really great games coming out from really great developers, but there are a few franchises and releases that are being squeezed into liquid for one stupid reason. Money. I get it. Game developers are businesses, and businesses need to make money. That makes sense, and that's fine. I have a savings account, okay? I know how money works. But there is, or at least there should be, in my opinion, a balance, and I feel like that balance is progressively leaning in the direction of making the playing experience worse on purpose to incentivize players to spend money to make it better. A game that they've already paid money for, rather than the other side of just having the integrity and the pride in your creative work to make a good game that people just want to pay money for. Super controversial opinion, I know, so controversial. But locking the content that makes your game functional or, I don't know, fun behind a paywall is scummy. And sadly, it's becoming a trend. It's like going the subway, paying $10 and getting only the bread. But don't worry, they'll toast it for you. But if you want the tomato and ham DLC, my friend, you gotta cough up another $29.99. If it wasn't already clear, this video is gonna be a bit of a rant.
Stop ruining my games!
I have a confession to make. I am a filthy casual gamer.
What did you say?
Primarily, I love sandbox games. I love creative open world and sandbox games for many reasons. Not only can you play while you have sitcoms playing in the background, but being able to interact with the game in a creative way feels amazing. If I make a change in the game that directly affects the way that I play going forward, I feel like a god. One of the best games I've ever played to this day, and one of the games that I feel has the most replayability, is Stardew Valley. It's essentially a farming simulator with some light combat and a lot of social functions, but it's incredible, even if no one dances with me at the flower festival.
What the fuck?
Stupid bitches better not step foot on my property again. I think like most other millennials, The Sims was my first exposure to a creative sandbox game. I think it would horrify me to know how many hours total in my life I've spent building houses and missing work.
Ah, shit!
It's an odd thought to think that a game where you quite literally just live life, in a lot of cases barely better than the life you're already living, could be so entertaining. But it's true. I think we simply enjoy being able to control a simulated character's life on a micro level. So much of our real lives is governed by chaos and external events, so it's cathartic and it's nice to play God. Plus, being able to woohoo was one of the few rebellious things I did as a kid. That and putting $300 on the phone bill playing Habbo Hotel.
Cause I'm fucking rich. And you're fucking poor.
The Sims was a fun game, but now it sucks. Before you get defensive, hear me out.
Please, sir, wilt thou spare me but a few minutes of watch time?
The concept of the game itself hasn't changed much. You're still a simulated character or characters living their lives. And graphically speaking, it's obviously leagues ahead of its predecessors. So what's the issue?
EA.
EA are the issue. Rarely do I see such a huge but morally bankrupt company fly under the radar so well. Simply put, EA has made it their mission to carve out almost every intricate detail that makes The Sims what it is. Basically taking a scalpel and slicing out every single thing that makes The Sims fun for more than an hour of gameplay. And then they sell it back to you at a premium price. Their DLC has DLC. DLC is downloadable content, and back in the day it was actually a quite rare concept. Basically, DLC was designed initially to add more playability to a game that you've already finished, or it was to fix issues with that game. DLC now is an absolute staple. You'll be lucky to find any game that does not have DLC, and that in itself is fine. Sometimes it can provide a whole new gameplay experience. For example, there is a reason that The Witcher 3 is one of the top-rated games of all time. Not only is that impressive, but the fact that it is the third game in a franchise, and the very heavy majority of people who have played and love that game didn't even play the 2 games before it, so they came in not really even knowing the story, and yet they still walked away feeling like this had been one of the best games they had ever played. And the reason for that is that a very, very high level of care and passion and attention was put into all of the storytelling in the game. I literally struggle to think of any other game I've ever played that put so much effort into these side quests. Not to go off on too much of a tangent here, but usually side quests will be just a fetch quest. You'll go to a location, maybe fight some people, pick up something, and bring it back. The Witcher 3 has countless side quests, and each of them is massively different from the next. They have interesting characters, and they aren't just blank-faced NPCs, they have personalities, they have ambitions, motives, and best of all, how you complete that side mission can affect the gameplay later on, even to the main mission. The Witcher 3's DLC, which I'll point out is a mere fraction of the price of the Sims expansion packs, added tens of hours of gameplay each. Each of those DLCs for The Witcher 3 added fully fleshed out stories and characters, and last I checked each of them was only about $15 each. But for 50 Australian dollary-doos, you can get your Sims some cats and dogs. But hey, whoa there, if you want the other pets, you'll need to get the extra super special DLC. What's that? You want the in-game seasons to change and affect the gameplay in any capacity at all? $50, please, you piece of crap. What's that? You want to... Actually, I can't believe this one. What's that? You want... You want to do laundry? $15, please.
Give me money. Money me. Money now. Me a money needing a lot now.
Guys, did you hear? The Sims has a new expansion pack. For only double the price of these actually good games, your Sims can now recycle. Fuck off. If you're going out of your way to make sure that the game is only fun if the player who has paid money for your game pays more money, fine. But at least price it fairly. $50 to live in the city in a game where your primary objective is to live places is fucking insane. It's a giant middle finger to the people who are making you rich. Developers who are purposefully making incomplete games because they know that they can sell the rest of it later for more money is a fucking virus. I refuse to believe that it took double the effort to make this compared to this. If you bought all of the Sims 4 DLC, you would have spent enough to buy a half-decent second-hand car. That's not right. I could go into all of the other games that EA does this with. There's a lot. But honestly, The Sims feels like the biggest betrayal to me personally. I feel like the whole point when the game was initially designed was to provide people an escape from a world that is constantly trying to fist them. That's what made it great to begin with, that we all had such easy access to a fantasy life that was much better than the one we had. But now the people who would get the most enjoyment out of The Sims, poor people, are stuck behind a paywall.
Give me your money and be gone, you poor filth.
GTA 5, or Courier Driver Simulator, as I like to call it, is kind of like The Sims, but you can sucker punch people and steal cars. It's really awesome. I only played Vice City and San Andreas before I played GTA 5, and both of those games were amazing to a teenage boy. Being able to bang a hooker and literally swan dive off of a tower was a big step up from woohooing on The Sims. So every second I was playing those games, I felt like the baddest motherfucker in town. I'm not gonna have a conversation about whether video games make people violent, because that's stupid. Almost everyone I know grew up on these games. They spent hours upon hours upon hours stealing cars and running over police, and then in real life, they cry while they watch Adam Sandler's Click. Yeah, I'm looking at you, Sean. I don't cry. I'm a tough boy. In comes GTA 5, and I'll be honest, the only thing I was interested in was the online play. Being able to vent all of my frustrations through emotionally detached virtual crimes with my friends sounded like a blast. And it was. It still is, actually. I still play this game from time to time as much as I hate myself for it. But wait. It still sucks. So the company Rockstar has made billions off of this game, and I imagine they'll probably continue to do so. Most of that profit didn't come from actually selling the game itself, it came from in-game purchases. The primary objective in GTA 5 Online is to make money and buy things through organized crime and missions, basically just a whole bunch of stuff. Making money is the purpose. Everything in GTA 5 Online revolves around the in-game economy. So in the game, you can buy money with real money. And that's how Rockstar's making so much money off it, because they are selling data. It doesn't cost them anything. They don't even have to have a person pushing a button to make it happen. It is a pre-programmed algorithm. You pay real money, the system clicks over, virtual money pops up in your game account. What that means is that they could have given away the game for free and still left filthy rich. It doesn't cost Rockstar a f***ing dime to give you that plane that you really want, but it will cost you over $100. Again, that specifically isn't really a problem. People can spend their money however they want, and if there's money to be made, I can't really hate on people for going after it in some capacity. But aside from the pricing being what I personally feel is wildly inappropriate, what concerns me is when those paid offers actually affect the gameplay of other players who don't want to drop their rent money on a dumbass clown car. My problem is that when I'm in the game trying to do the drastically under-profitable missions and crime business runs, some kid who took his mum's credit card can fly over on his agile, indestructible, missile-firing flying motorcycle and ruin perhaps a couple of hours or more of work.
Son of a bitch!
Don't get it twisted, the missions in the game in GTA 5 Online do not make you nearly as much money as they should for the amount of time you spend doing them, or the difficulty involved. And there's a reason for that. It's because Rockstar wants you to say, ugh, this is too much hassle, I'll just pay the $50 for one of those cards. Let me clarify. The developers are intentionally making the game's content so unenjoyable or so irritating that you're encouraged and you're incentivized to pay real money to skip the content of the game that you just bought. There is a lot of other stuff I could mention that is shady about GTA 5 Online and the way it's been created and made to function, but the last thing I want to say is that if all this wasn't already bad enough, Rockstar has also made it so that while you're actually playing the game, your virtual cell phone will ring and actually disrupt your gameplay, and most of the time it does that to advertise to you paid content, stuff that it wants you to pay real money for.
Phone, telephone, fucking ring. Bloody hell, pick your fucking phone up, you bastard motherfucker.
And if you ignore the phone call, they'll just keep ringing back until you pick it up. Like I said, they have purposely made the game irritating so that you pay money to make it less irritating. Also that they can spank more money out of those butt cheeks. Spank, 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 money, money, money. But it does worry me how financially beneficial it is for developers. Personally, I feel that in-game currencies and loot boxes and overpriced expansion packs and DLC are a virtual cancer, but if they don't directly make my gaming experience worse, I can live with it. At the end of the day, it's video games, you know? What I'm not cool with is giving players the ability to impact other players or gain an advantage just because they happen to be better off in life. I'm not cool with hyper-aggressive and predatory marketing in-game that aims to leech every single dollar and cent out of people who probably need that money a lot more. I know this is like an old man yells at cloud moment, but I just miss the days of when you could buy a game, you paid for it once, and the developers actually tried to make it complete on the first go. I miss developers caring enough about the people buying their games that they didn't purposefully cut stuff out to sell it back later. I miss DLC being a bonus, not a necessity.
Sir, please,
Sir, why do you feel it's okay to bleed your customers dry for a subpar gaming experience?
Why? Because fuck them, that's why.
When Hello Games made No Man's Sky, they overpromised and underdelivered. So do you know what they did after the game came out and they got all of the negative backlash? They took all the money they made, they went back to work, and they finished the damn game. They gave the DLC to the players for free because they cared about the people that were playing their game. They wanted the game to be fun. What a wild concept. I don't really see things changing with these big developers because it takes so few people to buy into the in-game economies and loot boxes, etc., for them to make an enormous profit, more money than they would make actually selling the game. So the only real option that I see is that we I guess, pour our money and our support into developers and games that actually have our backs. Games that are complete, although they may have bonus stuff added later. Games that are intended to be entertaining and fun for more than 1 hour. There are a ton of other games I could talk about that I feel have been ruined by instances like this, but I feel like I would just be repeating the same faults that I pointed out with The Sims and GTA 5 Online. I know it's cheesy to say, and I know it's beating a dead horse at this point, but when the question is how much money can we make from this game, rather than how fun can we make this game, it's no longer art. It's a fucking grift. Imagine if, imagine if other forms of entertainment were like this. Want to see the end of the movie? You'll need the $20 Platinum Expansion Resolution Pass. Oh, you want the parts of the book that aren't truncated? You'll need the $40 Subplot DLC. Look, I know a video about a gamer boy ranting is kind of cringe, but I think predatory marketing is important to point out in any medium. At the very least, it's important to me. I want to play The Sims again and actually have fun. I want to do the damn woohoo, you know what I mean?
Stop ruining my games.